We won our second league in the Ultimate Glory Hunter Challenge. Last time out, it was the Kazakh League with Kaiser Kızılorda. But now the question is, where are we going next? Right now, it's October, and a golden chance to leave that team and look for a job elsewhere. We may finally have a chance to get involved in a season with a normal schedule. I'm tired of summer seasons at this point, and there are plenty of jobs available. Again, we won't probably go to Ligue 1, but I'm eyeing a job in Poland, Slovenia, or hear me out, Dudelange in Luxembourg. The 26-time league champions are now struggling and barely escaping relegation. I of course applied there, alongside 10 more clubs, making my name known in different countries. The Kazakh League title has a bit of a better reputation than the Latvian one, and thus, nearly every club offered us an interview, the only exception being Celje from Slovenia, and that's only because they were already done with the interviews. However, most of them are involved in a relegation fight. Examples include Korona Kielce in Poland, Universitatea Cluj in Romania, Široki Brijeg in Bosnia, Viborg in Denmark, Radnički Niš in Serbia, Lugano in Switzerland, Mlada Boleslav in Czechia, Botev Plovdiv in Bulgaria, and even NEC Nijmegen. In every talk, I requested the board to send me on a coaching course, but the chairman consistently rejected it. Except for Lugano, and with them giving me 5.5 million euros of a transfer budget, they were my favorites. And that's pretty much the only interesting thing about those interviews, because everything else was the same. Why do you apply for many jobs? I'm considering my options. Do you like this club vision? Yeah, I do. Why didn't you manage many clubs? I'm in early days. I didn't expect much from Royal Antwerp or NEC Nijmegen though, but every other club was the job we could go for. The media thought otherwise, and were actively linking me with those jobs, although they weren't giving me a big chance in Benelux initially. In short, I was yapping and yapping and yapping, but I didn't yap my way into my favorites Lugano or Viborg. Other than that, getting a deal was very easy. Cluj and Kielce both gave me one. However, I delayed both offers, though Kielce is my favorite from the two we've got. This also gave a chance for Botev Plovdiv and Dudelange to give us an offer, and an interview from Zorya Łuhansk in Ukraine. I left the game and went to sleep, debating whether to take Botev or wait for something better, and my course of action was going to Bulgaria. I know this move seems random, Botev wasn't my initial favorite, but I think I want to wait with Poland and the other stronger leagues for later videos. We landed in the second biggest city of Bulgaria, and the two-time champions of the Bulgarian League. However, the last time they took the crown was in 1967. In the recent years, Botev has been a huge up and down side, and a bit of an underdog, getting 3 third places in the last 5 seasons, mixing them with mid-table finishes. The league is absolutely dominated by Ludogorets Razgrad, who keep winning it without fail since 2012. You might have heard of this team before, because they played twice in the Champions League and a bunch of times in the Europa League, including 3 more appearances in this save so far. But let's go back to our club. The first conference was just fine, and overall, this team has much bigger potential compared to our previous adventure in Kazakhstan. We have a proper budget and decent finances, though I must admit, I just moved $500,000 to the scouting, so we can cover the entire world. We also have plenty of young talent that was very eager to jump into the first team. I don't know what they were doing in the U19s. I invited all of them to the first team. Our stuff is good for the league standards, though I am planning on filling up the remaining slots within days. The only problem is our league position. The board wants us to finish mid-table and we're in the relegation zone. However, the league seems competitive and kind of equal, and we don't even lose that many points to the league's top 6. But we won't get to meet the players properly. We're starting the Bulgarian adventure with a game against PFK Montana the very next day after we got appointed. I decided to experiment with our tactic. For the first time in this series, we are going with a 5 at the back and direct football, as per the board objectives. And you could tell this was the right approach when Ilyas Sebawi found a channel to get into and open up the scoring. Nikola Iliev then capitalized on a defensive error, made a solo run and blasted a shot into the far post. And Gottfried finished it off with a long shot. It feels great to win in a dominant fashion. What a debut from us. However, this was just a mid-table side, and the real test would be against the top teams. One of them is Hebar Pazardzik, even though they may as well be considered to be the underdogs. The second game in charge in our brand new built in 2023 state-of-the-art stadium saw us getting a relatively easy win. It was down to two penalties, one from a Moroccan attacking midfielder Ilyas Sebawi and the other from a Spanish right back, Dani Morer. Within 2 match days, we went up from 15th all the way to 9th, and we did not want to stop there. However, some players were happy to leave us. One of them is a centre-back Jonas Tam, who agreed on a deal with Suwon Blue Wings in South Korea to join during the summer. But I still wanted Suwon to sign Jonas right now, and the Korean side agreed to do so for 40,000 euros. Much bigger offer came from China. Shanghai Port offered a release clause for our striker, Georgi Nikolov. That clause was at 2.6 million euros, or somewhere around 26 Bitcoin, as of December 25, 2024. Because while researching some info about the club, I found out Botev is sponsored by Bitcoin itself. This leaves us with 2 slots to fill during the winter transfer window, and with 20 Bitcoin to spend. Would be more if the board wasn't taking 80% of the cryptos for themselves. Because our left wing back Kostas Balogiannis has no suitable backup, we brought in this Serbian left back Petar Cirkovic for 500k from Napredak Kruševac. But we do not need a new striker. I realized it when I found out about Krasimir Borisov. What is so special about him? Well, just look. And yes, this guy was an under-19s. At this point, I'm actually going to show you all of the players who were stuck in the youth teams of Botev Plovdiv when I came. All of these lads have high potential. Some of them could be our stars, some of them could go to the big leagues, and some of them are useful for the first team already. I see why the previous gaffer was sent packing. Not using this amount of talent is criminal, but we don't have a talented Nugent on goal. So I had to replace Donovan Leon, who went to Valerenga in Norway. And for 1.6 Bitcoin, I brought in Ivan Dichevski from Beroe Stara Zagora to fill that spot. And turns out...
I am stupid.
Guess I'm recalling Igonen from Krumovgrad. Our mixed form at the start of our reign led to 11th place in the league, which is okay-ish, but we still have to be very careful in terms of a potential relegation fight, especially with Ludogorets Razgrad and Beroe Stara Zagora being the first fixtures after the winter break. And we are without a star striker. Nikola Iliev will miss both of these games due to an injury. Sadly, Ludogorets just showed how long of a way we've got to come to even join a title fight. Ludogorets striker Kasper Hogg and left winger Bernard Tek Petey had a great day in the office. Both of them had at least 2 goal contributions each, which in total led to the hosts scoring 5 goals past us. It was a total disaster for us, with a blunder of a performance from our keeper. And Bernard's form wouldn't help before the game against Beroe Stara Zagora in the Trakia derby, in which we let Beroe score a tap-in, with it being the only goal of the game, which means we lost. And this probably shows nothing more than staying up will happen this year. We're only 12th in the table and we have to step up if we want something out of this season. But there's one more derby, and that derby is more important to Botev. That is a city derby against Lokomotiv. However, you can't see Lokomotiv anywhere in the table, and that's because they went down last season. But there's always a cup, in which we got drawn against our bitter rivals. We went on to win 1-0 thanks to Vini Tribule scoring into the top bins. Could be 2, if our academy graduate, Radoslav Skerlev, wasn't offside in this situation. This win was huge news, and we progressed to face Arda Karzali in the quarterfinals, and open up the scoring in the first minute. However, 3 more goals were scored during the first half, and 2 of them were for Arda players. Thankfully, Gottfried scored a wonder to equalize, but unfortunately, we were knocked out in the quarters when Arda scored late in the game to advance to the semi-finals. So our interest now is only in seeing out the league campaign. But despite only sitting on 12, we still have an outside chance of sneaking into European football. The Bulgarian league kind of functions like the Czech league, where we tried to build a nation with SFC Opava. Full movie available on the top right. After every team plays each other twice, the league splits into 3 groups. The top 6 fights for the title, the bottom 6 tries to stay up, and the 4 middle teams go into what's called the second phase. The teams there keep all the points and play each other twice. The winner advances to a European playoff against the best team in the championship group that hasn't got a guaranteed slot, and we're only 5 points away from reaching it. All we have to do is to step up, which we did. In the next 7 games, we won 4 and drew 2. Things would be perfect if we didn't make this spectacular bottle against CSKA 1948. which is a site created because some of the fans were not happy with Grisha Ganchev, the previous Litex Lovech owner, who declared the original CSK Sofia as a Phoenix club of Litex Lovech. At least this is what the AI told me, and I still don't really understand what's going on. What matters is that after this good run of form, we were in a position to qualify for the championship group. We only had to win against 8th Slavia Sofia. But the less said, the better. We had roughly equal stats with Slavia, but they were just much more prolific. A Brazilian newgen Mateus had a stellar game, giving an assist and then scoring one of his own. We lost that game 3-0, and with the other results, we went down to the relegation group. And when we lost to Botev Wraca and CSK 1948, the threat of relegation was real. We must be thankful. These two were the hardest opponents in the group, with wins over already relegated Dobrudza and Krumovgrad, and they draw against Arda Kardzali, albeit it was the spectacular 92nd minute bottle. We finished 12th in the league. We're happy to stay up, of course, but we know it's not Botev's goal. Botev's goal is to go down, qualify for Europe on a regular basis. And our personal goal is to break Ludogorets' 15-year-long streak of continuous— Wait, CSK Sofia has done it already? Turns out our only goal is to just win a league title at this point. And we're already calling in reinforcements. Like this guy, an attacking midfielder / forward Mateus, who was a free agent. He does not have the speed or finishing, but we could make him a decent playmaker with his vision, dribbling or technique. We're also adding strength into the back line. Michal Prokesz from Czechia came to fill the center back slot for just a compensation fee from Viktoria Žižkov. On the other side of the door, we could find Yanis Mbemba going to Cherkasy in Ukraine, Samuel Akere going on loan to Farul Constanta, Steven Fortes who stopped playing, or a goalkeeper Hans Christian Bernat who went to CSK 1948. This forced us to go into the market, but many keepers just did not have the required quality to be a number one between the sticks, or were way too expensive. Until we stumbled upon this guy. Abdo Faruk not only looked very promising despite an incomplete scouting report, but also had a very clear sign that forces us to take action. He was a transfer target for Ajax, Feyenoord, and Real Madrid. Yes, this was purely going to be an impulse buy, but I had to react. We offered a contract near instantly to the Egyptian. We waited a couple of days for a decision, thinking we'll just gambling with a 1% chance, and I looked at his attributes in the meantime. I just want to sign him now. This was a serious hunt. We agreed on a fee of 350,000 euros with the Egyptian side Haras El Hudud. And I'll stop the tension here. Real Madrid only kept watching and Abdo agreed to join the go-getters. Botev Plovdiv. You get the point. We just randomly signed a wonderkid of a keeper for our team, but there were also players who wanted to leave. One of them was Nikola Iliev, our star forward. He wanted to move into the big leagues, and we agreed that it will happen if someone pays a release clause. But many clubs thought the best idea was to invite Nikola on a loan. Brentby and 3 different Czech teams did so, and got scared away by said release clause, standing at 2.9 million euros. However, various clubs in Spain or England were happy to splash the cash, and Nicola's decision was to move to Palermo, who just got promoted to the Serie A. He already was a part of a roster of Inter Milan, so it's kind of a known environment. Nicola still found the time to join our season opener against Arda Kardzali and had a storming 10.0 game, scoring a hat-trick. But nothing will beat Juan Cruz Bolado, Arda's goalkeeper, who fought his Manuel Neuer. Iliev's departure did not really hurt our form. His replacement will be Hernan Candia from Argentina for 1.3 million. And we started scoring less, but out of 5 games, we won 4 of them. This put us on top of the standings. But what Ludogorets and CSK Sofia had on us is a game in hand. And we will play CSKA on the 6th match day of this campaign. We were the ones to take the initiative against the champions, thanks to a penalty, converted by Yanis Karabelyov. But of course, this game had to be carnage. Ilya Andronov equalized for CSKA with his solo run. The game would turn into a proper carnage in the second half, with Mafia Sveton giving the away team the lead. And guess what happened next? Yet another penalty! Karabelyov stepped up for the second time and converted for the second time. Want more carnage? 4th penalty! Our defensive midfielder has a chance to score a hat-trick against last season's champions. Well, a third was a little bit too much. We did have a slight advantage and kept creating chances near the end of the game, but we didn't put the football into the net. So so we have to respect a very good draw. Though there is a feeling we could have won. One more move happened after this game, and that was Spartak Trnava's talent from Brazil, Leandro, who will replace Vini Tribule, who went to the Polish side Pogoń Szczecin for 1.9 million euros. The rest of the autumn was full of ups and downs. One of the ups was our very important win against Ludogorets Razgrad. The Razgrad side did score in that game, but it was offside, so we could claim the all-important 3 points. And one of the lows was a heavy loss in the Plovdiv derby. We couldn't match Lokomotiv, who got promoted back to the top flight and are doing quite well in their return. All we could do was Hernan Candia scoring a consolation. So far, we were winning most of the games anyway, and its natural result was us entering the Conference League race, not the title race unfortunately. CSKA Sofia and Ludogorets went way ahead in their title battle, and the leaders of the standings proved it in the game against us, scoring the only goal of the game. We were good enough though to enter the winter on the 5th. We also advanced to a cup quarterfinal, albeit our first opponents were from lower leagues. Our stars of the round were 2 homegrown players. An attacking midfielder Krasimir Borisov with 8 goals in 20 games and Radoslav Skerlev with 11, and fighting for the top scorer award. So to get Europe this year, we need to give them some more support. We let go players that didn't play much anyway, but we wouldn't go on a spending spree. The only transfer we paid money for is Martin Stojcev, who I plan to be the new starting right back for 700k, and the other signing is an impulse buy, but this time we did not steal anyone from Real Madrid's watch. Lucas Paresi was out of contract in Argentina, so we got him. His technicals might not be the best, but he's already a monster mentally and physically. With those reinforcements, we started the round okay-ish, with a draw in the Trakia derby against Beroe Stara Zagora. But then I'd rather not talk about that. Or that. Or us getting knocked out of the cup in the quarterfinal against Chebar Pazarcik on penalties. But on the other side, we did have some huge wins, like a 1-0 win against Ludogorets, thanks to Krasimir Borisov cutting inside to score at the end of the first half and Abdo Faruk having a huge penalty save at the start of the second half. Or a 3-0 win in the derby against Lokomotiv, in a game where Martin Georgiev decided to score a banger. We also demolished Botev Wraca, Septembri Sofia or Chebar Pazarcik as a revenge for the cup. We only achieved a draw against Slavia Sofia, but adding PFK Montana's loss in game week 29, it was enough to guarantee our slot in the championship group, only 4 points behind a European playoff spot, which was going to be the 3rd place, because the cup winners are not in Bulgaria's top 6. First hurdle, Ludogorets Razgrad, and it was an absolute concert. We scored 3 past the later runners-up of the league, leaving them 0 chance to respond. We did leave a chance to respond for later champions though, CSKA Sofia. But even though they had a golden chance to equalize with a penalty, they did not. We had Leandro who put the ball in the bottom corner, and Michal Prokash who gave us the win from a corner. The lone goal we lost against CSKA in 1948 was just peak Football Manager experience. We countered it with a sort of a comeback win against Levski Sofia, which left us 3 points behind 3rd Chernomore Varna, who are our final opponents this year. Win, and we'll get into the European place playoff. We quickly got to action, with Kostas Balogianni scoring in the 2nd minute. We were now equals, but we also needed a better goal difference, and it wouldn't help that Tihomir Lovkov equalized for the hosts. Thankfully, Michal Prokash scored from a corner, using his 17 jumping reach. The job was finished when Sava Cestic scored from another corner in the 2nd half. We were going to play in the European place playoff, and our opponents will be... Okay, what's going on? I checked the league rules, and I read that what matters is the results between teams, and we had 2 wins against Chernomore. We're still 4th, so maybe the goal difference is the criteria. Again, we're in a better position, as well as in scoring goals and having less cards. We just got dropped out of Europe! What are these shenanigans in the Bulgarian league? And we can't even protest the final standings. Chernomore is playing instead of us in the playoff, and they won it by equalizing in the last minute of stoppage time and then got it in extra time. This could be us. This could truly be us. But at least, I guess with no Europe to play in, we could just focus on winning it all in the very next season. What will help us is a new contract given by the board and the National B coaching license, so at least there are some good news. In the big leagues world, Pep Guardiola was sacked from Manchester City, so I kind of jokingly applied. They said no. But to be serious, we're staying, unless CSKA Sofia or Ludogorets jobs will be available. So let's dive into the transfer market and completely ignore the fact that what put us out of Europe are the results between teams in the regular stage. That's why we let many players go, who whose contracts were expiring. And in their place, I only want to sign the players who can jump straight into our starting 11. But first, Dusan Milivojevic, a centre-back from Bačka Topola in Serbia, who we signed thanks to his potential. We loaned him out to Septemvri Sofia because we didn't have enough foreign slots. Other than that, before the season opener against CSK Sofia, we got a huge offer for Gottfried. Initially, Al Vehta in Saudi Arabia gave us $1 million. We said we wanted 2, and they went on and said yes to it. Kostas Baljanis also went to Saudi Arabia, to Neom SC to be exact. Without them, we still were good enough to open up the scoring in the 4th minute. Krasimir Borisov was the one to give us the lead. We kept it in style for most of the game, but it was CSK with the advantage, and they would use it to equalize. It looked like we will start this year with a respectable draw, but in the very last minute, we went all in. Only for Michal Prokesz to score an own goal and lose the game. Thankfully, this was just a singular bottle. Throughout the start of the season, we kept winning a huge majority of the games, and showing we really mean business this year. 9 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss is an amazing record, which put us on top of the league with a healthy lead over an underdog, Spartak Varna. But there was a heavy price to pay. You thought this is enough? Now you see the reason for us to sign Pavel Velikov from Slavia Sofia for 1.4 million. Leandro had a great start to the season as well, scoring 8 goals and being in contention for a top scorer award. And he also got injured for 4 months. And our young player Angelo Hubchev went out for 2 months, forcing us to sign a free agent Christian Arnstadt, just to not worry about those injuries. Even with a literal hospital in our team, I hope we still will put up a good fight against Ludogorets. Have you noticed I also showed you a derby against Lokomotiv, in which we took the lead despite having 10 men, but then put the ball into the wrong net and got demolished. Krasimir Borisov gave us some hope in the final minutes, but his right foot effort was not enough to even salvage a draw. Spartak Varna? Also a loss, and our cup run ended on penalties in the second round against Dobrudza from the second tier. Okay, I'll stop now. Because these 4 losses, 3 of them in a row in the league, were the only ones in the rest of 2028. A draw against CSK Sofia and massive wins over Krumovgrad, PFK Montana and CSK 1948 got us back from 2nd place to 1st, with Ludogorets bottling some games in the process. But the inevitable came. Every manager and their mother wanted to sign our best players. Lucas Parisi got a 5 million offer from Genk in Belgium, which was an offer too good to refuse anyway. Sava Cestic went to Osijek for his release clause, although this was my initiative. We replaced him with Ivo Tsekov from Chernomore Varna for double the price. Leandro had 1 million offers and decided to go to Atalanta. Michal Prokesz got an offer from Fastav Zlin, which the board decided was too good to refuse. Radoslav Skrlev got an offer from Udinese for just over 3 million and the board accepted it too. What is going on? This is a sabotage. And I don't even have too much money to play with, because they're taking 80% of it. Thankfully, Jirishin was available for just 1 million, and Flamengo agreed to loan out Eder for free, who is a great talented forward. But these 2 signings were not here for the first game against Lokomotiv Sofia, which we lost. We did turn our fortunes though. The man who helped us massively is Eder. This man jumped in and started scoring goals for fun. His efforts helped us keep the lead before the tie against Levski Sofia, who were the closest in the chasing pack. Clown show. That's all I have to say. At least we did refund the costs for the away fans. We need to genuinely hope this was a one-off loss of all losses, because we also lost the lead of the table, which we wouldn't regain with a stalemate against Ludogorets or a 1-0 draw in the derby against Lokomotiv. Spartak Varna also wanted to cause trouble by equalizing in the 90th minute with a stunning effort, but Krasimir Borisov got a chance almost straight from the kickoff and kept our title dreams alive by scoring in the 91st minute, which didn't give the lead of the table before the first game of the championship group against CSK Sofia. Eder decided to start up a party with a tap-in. And by a party, I mean a total demolition. We stopped at 5 goals. We also took a revenge and a half for the derby loss and a draw. I guess a 4-0 win with a hat-trick from Pavel Velikov will do just fine. Levski Sofia at that time lost against Ludogorets, helping us retake the lead. The direct encounter is the title decider. And I just realized I accidentally did the rhyme. To Velikov on the left side, finds Cirkovic. This was a great pass. Cirkovic makes a cross, and there! Gives us the lead. Now Jular has a free kick for Levski. Polvera, Vassallo, just over the bar. We have to keep going, we have to score the second, keep the clean sheet. Error to Velikov, who makes it 2-0. Georgiev decides to go to the right side, maybe he'll do a cross, loses possession instead. Cirkovic finds Borisov for a chance to cross it. Ivanov potentially gives us a penalty. Krasimir closes the game. But I think this is a proper revenge. This was a statement and a half. We could confirm the title against Beroe Stara Zagora with one game to spare. And what also helps us is the fact Levski is playing the eternal derby against CSKA at the very same time. Fantastic save by Egon, and also they play a 1-2 consistently. Cross, and Velizar Ivanov, our 18-year-old talent, gives us the lead in the 60th minute. Make a pass to the middle, Mateus, deflection, 2-0. Is it done? The third league is completed. Botev Plovdiv, for the first time since 1967, are Bulgarian league champions. This was a very weird, but also insane adventure in Bulgaria. We took charge of an ambitious team that couldn't stabilize their form. And while the first season didn't go as planned, we really got down to business in the second, almost reaching European football. Turns out, lack of one was a blessing in disguise, helping us to fully focus on the league, which nobody seemed to want to win. Even our board, when they decided to sell half of the team without our permission. But nevertheless, nobody wanted the crown, so we took it. Using the academy players like Krasimir Borisov, Velizar Ivanov or Martin Georgiev, who got the most assists in the league to name a few, proved to be the right move in the long run, with some of them having that additional fire in their hearts, being born Botev supporters. And who knows, maybe we'll see them in some big leagues very soon. But I want to give a special mention to Eder. He seemed like a loan to just fill the numbers, but alongside Pavel Velikov, they both replaced Leandro and Skerlev duo perfectly. And after a guard of honor being given by Ludogorets, we also found time to win 2-0 against them, but with no Velikov's goals. It means Pavel did not become the league's top scorer. We won with 8 points of advantage over CSKA Sofia. Levski bottled the second place against our city rivals. But for those wondering, we are not going to conquer the European grounds with Botev. It's the ultimate Glory Hunter challenge. A challenge where we want to win every single European league, or at least as many as possible before FM25 comes out. Botev is going to have a warm place in my memory, but we have to move on, so the very next step we took was to resign. Royal Antwerp already approached me all by themselves during the season. I attended the interview with them, but they rejected us, probably because I wanted to take charge only after the season in Bulgaria. But outside of them, I already have some candidates. Not Manchester City, who sacked Thiago Motta after just a single season, but I would like to join a side that has already qualified for Europe on their own, so maybe we could add a European silverware to our trophy count. Which team will we take? You'll only find out next episode, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be very grateful for that. While I'm preparing the 4th episode, you can check out our start to this adventure. The first episode of this series is available on your screen right now.